This is the story of how God healed my depression and brokenness and changed me into the happy and joyful person that I am today. The price to pay was seemingly huge. It cost me the ability to walk. But let me tell you why this is worth it. My mental health has been bad since the beginning. Internally, for as far as I could remember, I always had anxiety, fear, and depression following me. When I got older, my mental health got even worse. I was insecure about who I was as a newcomer to Canada. I cared a lot about what other people thought of me. Aside from anxiety and depression, my insomnia became problematic. I could stay awake throughout the entire night over nothing. At age 16, that's when I first felt like I wanted to kill myself after a very small argument with someone in my class. That suicidal feeling surprised me because I couldn't explain why I felt that way over a very small matter. At age 18, I dated someone for just 4 weeks, not expecting the breakup would become the trigger of my clinical depression. It was then my story officially began. I was unable to sleep at all. The pace of my thoughts was very fast, and I couldn't stop thinking. Not even a single second of rest. My head was aching like a volcano ready to blow up. I also had other physical symptoms such as feelings of extreme anxiety and phobia. My heart was beating with an irregular rhythm, and at times I felt like I couldn't breathe. I had no control over any of those symptoms. But everyone around me, including my family and doctors and social workers, thought that I was depressed and suicidal over the breakup, and everyone focused on that and kept on telling me that I just needed to be strong. 2 weeks without sleep, the suicidal thoughts began to dominate me 24/7. The only thing I could think about was formulating different plans for how I could end my life. It was a biological need to die, much more powerful than my need for food and water. But the strangest thing was, every time I wanted to act out my suicidal plan, there was always a small voice in my head telling me to go to a church. I had been to my friend Teresa's church a few times, but I thought I would lose my freedom and fun if I became a Christian. And some of the things they taught, like parting the sea or virgin birth, were like fairy tales. So I totally rejected. But now I have come to the end of myself. No other human being could help me. I have to give God a try. One afternoon, I asked my dad to take me to the church that I once went to. We were told that the pastor couldn't come to work that day because of a family emergency. As I sat in the empty chapel and looked up at the cross hanging in the middle, I suddenly realized I didn't know the meaning of the cross. I never bothered to find out. I only saw it as a piece of jewelry. But what does it mean? Can it save me? Can a rugged cross save a wretch like me? 2003 was the time of the SARS outbreak. Just like COVID, it became a global pandemic. Without sleep for 2 months, I looked like a zombie. There was no soul behind my eyes, and anyone could tell instantly that I was a very ill person. Strangers thought that I had SARS and that I was contagious. Everywhere I went, people tried to flee from me, and that was my last straw. So on the fateful day of June 20th, 2003, I fell from the 8th floor balcony right in front of my dad. The second I hit the ground, my spine was fractured, and all my internal feelings were gone from my waist below. I knew instantly that I would not be able to walk again, but aside from that, I didn't feel like I was dying. When the paramedics showed up and measured all my vital signs, they were so normal that they didn't even sound the siren when driving me to the hospital. That night, my dad felt so brokenhearted for not being able to protect me. As he lay in bed, he couldn't sleep at all. Then something supernatural happened. He saw light, golden light shining in front of his eyes. The light was so bright, but it didn't hurt his eyes. And it brought peace, and he fell asleep after that. During my hospitalization, I received proper treatment for my mental illness. I was later diagnosed with bipolar disorder. After being medicated for a few weeks, I was finally able to sleep again, and as my brain health improved, one day I realized that had I been treated and medicated in time, had I known enough about mental illness, I would never have jumped. My injury was totally preventable. How am I able to live with this regret for the rest of my life? And meanwhile, when my parents needed help the most, my dad's co-worker Eugene reached out to them. He is a Christian and he invited my parents to go to his home and have a meal. He also introduced his church families to them and they were praying for us. And they continued to help them during most of our recovery. And soon after that, when my dad came to visit me, he read Psalm 23 to me and explained what each verse meant. I was so surprised that he, being a hardcore atheist, could get converted so easily. While in the hospital, I was placed on suicide watch. I had different people sitting near me and watching me 24/7. Most of the time, they didn't bother to interact with me. But one day, I had a new sitter, a very young girl named Irene. She chatted with me as if we were friends. She told me about her family in Africa and how she came here all by herself as a new immigrant. She was so kind to me, and in my lonely hell, she was a little match that lit up my darkness. One night, Irene wanted to pray a bedtime prayer for me. I closed my eyes obediently. So she started her prayer by saying, "Father." The second I heard Irene call God Father, I felt a quick in my heart. Before that point, I thought that God was a merciless judge. He punished me with a permanent disability and sentenced me to life in this physical prison just because I rejected him before. But God is a father? To whom? Only to people who are like Irene? Another night, Eugene brought his sisters and brothers to visit me. They were so kind and friendly. One brother counseled me and told me to pray to God and ask for his help. That's how his family overcame the loss of his sister to suicide. I asked, "I'm not a Christian. I've not been baptized. Would God even listen to my prayer?" He replied, "Being baptized is like a wedding ceremony. The couple declares their love for each other to the world. But before the wedding, they were already in love. It's the same with God. Although you didn't know him, he already knew you and loved you before you were born. When you pray, he listens and answers. So God is my father as well." That night, I prayed for the first time in my life. I didn't know how to pray. All I said was, "Lord, save me." In the past 20 years, I experienced God's presence and intervention in every situation. He delivered me from all my brokenness and shamefulness. He taught me about self-love, forgiveness, and patience. In Christ alone, I found my identity and became a brand new creation. If this was the only road to knowing Jesus and the love of God, I would gladly take the same path all over again. But no, you don't have to go through hell to meet God. Salvation is only a prayer away. If you're also feeling depressed and hopeless, invite God to come and be your help. Pray with me the following prayer. Dear God, I don't even know if you are real, but I want to try. I want to be saved because I'm unable to save myself, nor is any other person able to make any difference in my situation. But please help me and do the things only God can do. Let my life be turned around in a miraculous way that I cannot deny it is you at work. If you turn this broken life around, I will follow you with all my heart for the rest of my life. In Jesus' name, amen.